la 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 la. Diddy trial. Oh no, Diddy trial. Oh no. All right, this is gonna be short, sweet, and nice. We're gonna talk about day 13, or was it 14? I don't know, child, but I know we in week 4. Um, child, I'm glad they decided we shouldn't go 4 weeks to go, cause baby, I feel like a witness that we glad it's done. Um, is not cross-examining. I really am happy for that. Um, I want to discuss something about Brian Steele. This is good. This is tea. Excuse me. Back in my mom. So, to me, I watched Brian Steele on the trial, and when I tell you, it's still okay. Haven't gone to Brian. Don't know that done technique and he I prosecuted on the way they yeah me me is very much real. Um, it's a lot of women and men that go through it, people that are victims. Um, and some of the things that Brian was bringing to the jury attention, now the way he was doing it, he was a butthole. I don't not listen. I don't know who didn't let Brian get his coffee yesterday morning, but I hope y'all let that man get his frappuccino, his cappuccino, latte, macchiato, whatever. And I know he gets. Listen, Brian cut up. Brian, I'm telling y'all now, we getting deep into it. And when Brian get ready to cross examine, he's going to cut up. But let that man have his coffee, because we done seen how he did at the third trial. They held that man in contempt. I saw a lot of people asking will they hold him in contempt or charge him, because he didn't ask the question. He tried to lure her into telling the situation with her, trying to get some information on her therapy session. I think Brian felt like she was lying. And we're going to get into some of those points. I'm not going to read it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm going to get frustrated. And I'm only here for 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes, okay? We got to get to the Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. I'm going to just go over some bases that I have read and heard. First, before I get into it, I want to give out a shout out to a YouTuber. He is doing his thing. 3 YouTubers. They're doing beautiful with this trial. I don't care what nobody say. I watched them faithfully. That is to Attorney Timon Redwine. If you want a very good detail with law on that, you have Yanni Bonnie, which is Faith, Fun and Foolery, and you also have Armand Wiggins, and I'm so proud of Armand right now. I have watched him cry on live, BB Little. I've watched it all, and I'm just honored and proud of him at this moment. It's amazing to watch. All right, so let's get into it. Mia was very questionable. Okay. Now remember, they did a crossing with Mr. Garcia. We're gonna get into Mr. Garcia tomorrow. We may get into a little bit today, but I want to just recap some of the things with Mia. And then we're going to talk about Mr. Garcia, who walked in and said that he wasn't giving them immunity or under oath of anything, and he was a witness. Let me see. So let's get into it. Come on. Oh, it's 18? God dang, we behind on what we think it is. Let's get into it, honey. Lord have mercy. And shout out to everybody covering this. This is one of the biggest trials ever. Is Diddy. Oh, the trial. Okay. So let's get into some key headlines. Okay. Well, this is a minute ago. I went yesterday. So Garcia is the hotel manager, but we're gonna get into the conclusion. Uh, her concluded. She basically broke down and said it was one of the worst things she had to talk about. They asked her, did she post on the social media during a cross examination with the picture of, I guess, him touching her thigh, whatever. And they asked her, did you post as on social media as part of your job? And she said, yeah. This was shocked the prosecutors. Wasn't it part of your job to manage PD social media presence? She said yes. She testified. Thank you, because we're gonna get into it later. I don't want to hear the news. More on y'all website. Jeez Louise. Hold on, y'all. She said that she posts on there. It was her job, to post for him on his website, manage his website, not his website, but I'm sorry, his Instagram, stuff like that. So they went ahead and did. They highlight the reel of Combs and not meant to be around the downside of working with him. Is that what you didn't post about Mr. Combs slamming Cassie into the bed frame? She said yes. Is that why you didn't post Mr. Combs? Mr. Combs throwing a computer at your head? She said yes. Is that why you didn't post Mr. Combs essaying you? She said yes. Okay. She testified that she made a scrapbook for his birthday. This is where we get to the Stockholm syndrome. Um, she said when he was happy, she was safe. Mia to clarify why she met so often with federal prosecutors with the defense. Okay, so they asked her why she met him so often. She said she met with the government so much in order to understand her story because she was terrified. She was learning at the same time. She told the court clarifying that she was terrified of pup. She also testified it was the worst thing for her to talk about. And then we're going to go down to the fence. Now, Brian, let me tell you about Brian. Brian, this is where Brian comes into play and how he does things, okay? I want y'all to pay attention to this trial. Okay, so Brian asked her, did you ever anonymously think about calling law enforcement? She said no. You ever hear about a battered woman's shelter, just reported it there? He said no. Still also sought this demonstrate Mia's testimony. Okay, this is where he going to cross in and how he's trying to do things, right? He talked about her being traumatized. And then he said the only thing you wrote to about Mr. Combs was a moderation statements on his birthday. So basically, still it's like, listen, if you were so scared of this man, if this man was scaring you, why did you admire him? If this man touched on you, why did you, still want to work with him? Why did you want to be around him? If this man does this and that to you, why did you want to be around? Like, what was the purpose of being around him? What was the purpose of it, right? And you know, And then he asked her about he said a count cone slamming her arm in the door, asked if she thought medical treatment, if she sought medical treatment after the alleged incident. So she never went to the hospital. Went him slamming her arm in the door. She said that she wasn't allowed to. He asked her, were there bruising results from the incident? She said no. He asked her, were you screaming? This is how let me tell you something. Mia took the cake. Even though she had Stockholm Syndrome, Mia don't effed it up. Mia said, I didn't scream when he was slamming my arm in the door. She said he asked her when he slammed the arm in the door. Remember, she said he slammed her door in the arm. She said she didn't scream. And she didn't go to the hospital because it wasn't allowed. So, in my mind, I'm having thoughts of if somebody slamming my hands, my arm, my foot, my body in the door, baby, I'm going to scream. Who the fuck? Who? What? Huh? Because you're going to feel that pain of somebody trying to break your arm. You're going to scream. She said she did not scream when he was slamming her arm in the door. He asked, was it painful? Still, this is what Still asked. She said, yes. He said, why you wasn't screaming? She said, I don't have the answers why I didn't scream. I was in shock. They questioned her about her departure from her job with Diddy. We're going to get into that. I'm just reading a little bit. She went to go work for Madonna for 8 months in March of 2017 after she left Combs. So she went to go work with Madonna. He said that Mr. Combs assist you in getting that job. She said, absolutely not. Do you have any evidence to show the juror that you were somehow blacklisted? She said, no, of course not. She did, however, repeat her assertion that she experienced reputations by Combs. Okay, so I'm going to say this. I feel like the prosecutors, and a lot of people feel this way, has failed to show how blacklisting is in Hollywood. They could have came back, did, a follow-up of everything and try to ask questions of how it worked some kind of way. And that's how prosecutors failed. I feel like, before we finish, I feel like defensive prosecutors feel like Mia wasn't credible. I feel like she was credible when it came to the things she saw. She was credible to having things thrown at her and broken arm. But Mia really wasn't credible in her truth of telling everything to them. And I feel like they feel like, to Mia, this is how I see it, that it was a game. That's probably how they felt. So, and still gets agitated in a way, and the judge get agitated at the defense because there were a lot of sidebars, a lot of things being called for him to switch his questions up. I'm gonna read a little bit. We're gonna go to Mr. Garcia because we got time. Do you have evidence to show the jury that you somehow blacklisted? Of course not. She said he took away the TV show, basically, that he promised to give her. Her employment from Sean Combs following her testimony, she was surprised her job was eliminated. He said, is it true that you let go for failing to arrive on time for drinking? She said, absolutely not. Like, there was nothing in there for you to throw in there. So this is, y'all got to pay it. If y'all paying attention to how Brian do, you're going to pay attention. Okay. She said that she was hurt that she lost her job. She said her entire world was being ripped from her. In hindsight, the world was awful. She didn't know at the time. and they asked if she wanted to continue to work for him if he was such a bad person. I wanted to follow my dreams, and I had a separation from them. And then he said, you made the decision to work for Sean Combs' his business. She said, I didn't think I had a choice. Also, she said she had a dream about Diddy coming to save her. And then they asked her why she didn't make a claim that Mr. Combs essayed her when she did her lawsuit, and why she didn't make the claim last year on the 28th, of 2024. She said, I don't remember the dates, but I do remember Harvard conversations. And they said this is 7 months after Miss Ventura lawsuit went viral. And they said the choice of legal representation, the judge sustained objections and called a sidebar. The jury did not hear that Mia is represented by Sean Crawley and Michael Ferreira, who was E. Jean Carroll during the lawyers, was E. Jean Carroll lawyers for President Trump. Well, Mr. Trump, not president. Still adds Mia prior testimony that she escapes Combs. And okay, so he asked her about the time that she said she was paddleboarding in Turks and Caicos. Now, remember, I got a question like, how you gonna get over there with nothing and paddleboard in the middle of the ocean? If y'all ever been in the island ocean, okay, it's salty. It ain't that bad, but it's not salty under your eyes or burn. Sorry, that's a whole different ocean. But the way that it is, if you never swam in an ocean or paddleboard in an ocean, you really wasn't going nowhere. So he asked her, what was that just made by you? She said, no. Okay. How was that all events have no photograph of text messages or email from you? Still has earned a sustained objection when he asked Mia whether she hired a lawyer in 2024 because she wanted to join what she called the Me Too money grab against Mr. Combs. Now, Mia only got, I believe, 10,000. I'm not sure the amount, but she got a nice amount from the lawsuit that she had with Diddy at the time. So I don't think it was a Me Too movement. But because we got a little time, I want to get my 10 minutes into Garcia. I'm not going to read too much on her, but I'm going to tell you what it was. And a lot of people are saying that they feel like she felt like she was slighted, and I agree. And I do agree. Now, she adored all of that, work, hostile environment, all of that stuff from him. And she thought she was going to get somewhere and got nothing. I had a conversation last night talking about it. And if you really understand that some of the witnesses, I'm not victim blaming at all, but all the witnesses wanted something for their pain that they experienced in the traumatization. They wanted to get some kind of way. They wanted to get back because they're traumatized. They have to go to therapy. Oh no, you gonna give me what's owed to me. That's how they felt. I feel like Mia didn't give us what was needed to give. I'm glad they're done with Mia and moving on, because that was, as the headlines as you see, Mia's testimony was very humiliating. I would be embarrassed for anybody to know what I look like in my name, because that's embarrassing. Okay, so we're going to go on to Mr. Garcia. Let me see. I'm going to read a little bit of it. And honey, we're going to see what Mr. Garcia had to say. This is going to go into the bribery of the hotel. I'm still feeling like this sums it up for, to me. I'm still feeling like the only witness they have is Cassie and the people that was around at the time. That's just how I feel. And it sucks. But let's keep it above. Nobody else is talking about it. Nobody else is having a discussion. Okay. So I believe Eric Garcia works for the hotel. Or he's a, let me make sure. I don't want to give y'all the wrong details. I'm trying to find everything. But I believe he's a worker because the way he's looking about who he called him. And of that nature, let me stroll back up. Okay, so they talked. Here we go. They talked to Eddie Garcia. And this happened yesterday. For an hour and a half. They want the video expert, this and that. Let me see if I can get how Eddie started. I want to make sure I get detail of who Eddie Garcia is. Okay. So they talked and then they decided to wait for him for until tomorrow. Okay, but how did it start? Like, I need to know who Eddie is because I believe he's an ex worker and I don't want to get it wrong. So we're gonna go into the charge of the baby oil and stuff because it's not giving me what I want. I think this happened afterwards. Um, okay, we're just gonna go what they have. So basically, here we go. Stop. Let's go. Give me a minute, y'all. I'm sorry. The longer I take, the more I just give you my time. Because I want to get into who Mr. Garcia is. I don't want to give out the wrong information. That would be very much rude of me. Okay. So then yesterday they talked about Sylvia Oiken. We're gonna get into Eddie tomorrow. Um, she worked at the Beverly Hill Hotel for 17 years. She's a director of sales and marketing. She does a reservation through the system called Oprah. Does opera like a customer alias to their real name? She said yes. This one, who is it really? Sean Combs. Can you a guest change his name or alias? She said yes. So she said that it was played to T. Fletcher at Bad Boy. It was paid by Amex card of Sean Combs. The folio of the bill was for room 259, and there was a $500 charge for oil damages. So they decided to ask some further questions. I guess that came up to what they needed. So Sylvia came and said, "Hey, he used his Amex card. Um, oh, she did something. Yeah, she did do King of Hearts with Nicki Minaj. I remember that was about Cassie. I remember that song. And then they called. Let me go back. What are you doing? I'm trying to get with Eddie Garcia before I go in my 10 minutes. Let me click on this one. Okay. So they had a conversation. How many minutes I got before I get up out of here? Okay, great. We can get this through. Um, they asked for Mr. Garcia. He enters the courtroom, and they asked him, "Did he receive a subpoena to testify?" He said, "Yes." "Do you intend to invoke your Fifth Amendment rights?" He said, "Yes." "Have you seen a proposed immunity order?" He said, "Yes." And then she said, "On your honor, this the prosecutor. On that basis, we propose you sign the immunity order." So he did that while they were cross-examining Mia before Mia came back. So Eddie, is going today. Now, I was reading a little bit of some details with Mr. Eddie before I clear this off. Let me see what kind of juicy parts we can talk about Eddie. And then we're going to get into everything. Uh-huh. Child. So Eddie came back this morning. I'm not sure what day we on. Y'all gonna hear me say different days. So Eddie, okay, here we go. They asked Eddie who was his supervisor. He said it was Bill Mirando. He told me to do it for 50. What did you think that meant? He gave the video for 50,000. What did you do? Call Christina, who put Mr. Combs on. He called me Eddie my angel. I said I didn't have the access to the server. He told me he believed I could make it happen. He would take care of me. What did you think he meant? Money for the video. What did you do? Reach out to my supervisor about it. So Eddie is from the hotel, y'all. Eddie is from the hotel. He is hotel security. Okay. He is the hotel security from what happened that day when Cassie got stumped out and dragged. I think we saw Eddie in that video. I believe that was Eddie. I don't know. I don't want to put that out there. Okay. Eddie said, I got $5,000 to do this. Uh-huh. So as they call him in, Eddie worked at Intercontinental Hotel. He told there was an incident involving Sean Combs. He said he saw him there, and we still stipulated, so Still would be doing cross. Still is going to do the crossing of Eddie, child. Lord have mercy. He said that he signed that week ending March 10th, 2016. He couldn't monitor all the cameras, but he did it like, more than one at a time. He made sure he can require to check the monitors, check everything and see what's going on. So he recognized Diddy and Cassie. He said he didn't know who that was first until he looked closer and saw it was Sean Combs. And then he learned that Cassie was the second individual. He said Cassie told him, don't call the police, don't call law enforcement, because she don't want Diddy to go to jail. She didn't want none of that. Don't call them. Whatever. I just want to go. Remember, she said that. He said he reviewed the incident report. There was an attachment that I didn't open on the computer, a video file. They asked did he receive a call. He said yes. He got a call from Christina Coram, his assistant, the KK, his assistant, right? And it was a New York area code. She asked him if he had a video, and he said the video, she said Mr. Combs, had been intoxicated and didn't remember exactly. Still called for objection, and it was a sustained with a sidebar. He told KK that she would have to talk to the manager, and she kept calling the lobby, and she was looking for him, and she wanted that video. He said he told her she had to talk to a manager or file a subpoena. He said he told her what he saw off the video, off record, is bad. He said he got another call, so KK kept calling him, hey, I need that video. Hey, please give me that video. I don't need you to sell it to the media. I don't need this to get in the wrong hands. I don't need this to get into their hands. I need that video. I have to protect Sean Combs at all times. I need that video. Okay. She basically said, listen, he drunk. I need that video. And then he hopped on the phone and he was talking fast and stuttering. He sounded nervous. And so he emailed the management. They brought up, the email that he sent. They said objection overruled. The email shown as KK's phone number on it, not redacted. It says Combs, aka P. Diddy, says he's a patriot and wants to talk to you. He said he still got her. Somehow KK got the phone call on his private number. She got the security guy Eddie phone call, private number. Baby, when I tell you she was calling that private number, his personal number, I'm sorry. They were calling that personal number. And he said he was nervous. And we're going to leave it there. All right, you guys, I got to go. We got to get into Real Housewives Atlanta. We're going to do part 2 with Eddie tomorrow. But Eddie left, and what I left off is Eddie was making that phone, saying that they were blowing his personal phone up and John's phone up. They wanted that video of him kicking Cassie and dragging her. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm going to end this live, and I'm going to come back.